Thank you so much to, as always, our cantor Abby Strauss and our guest musical leader Rusty Graber for that musical gift and for the entire service. It's beautiful. I also want to say thank you so much to our pre-neg sponsors for this Shabbat evening, Beth and Lester Goldsmith, in memory of Judy Payton Goldsmith on her yahrzeit, and as always and eternally, Temple Israel Sisterhood for making sure that our pre-neg happens every single week. And of course, a special welcome to all of our guests from Shoham. It's been a busy summer, and as you may know, summer began yesterday. Regardless of how connected we may feel or not to the solstice, the chaos, stress, and disorder around us is intense and undeniable. No one in our chapel tonight needs reminding that we are facing grave moral choices as a country, that there is a trail of tears of children and parents who have been separated at our borders and in our name, for which each of us must bear responsibility. The angst of this moment is echoed in this week's parashah, Chukat, in which the Israelites are reeling after the loss of Miriam, their leader and source of water, and reeling from a shortage of resources, and from 38 years in the wilderness. In this week's story, God gives Moses instructions to retrieve water from a rock. To do so, God wants Moses to speak to the rock. But instead, famously, Moses strikes the rock with his rod. The water does come forth, but God is angry with Moses for his deviation from instructions, and so sentences Moses to die in the wilderness rather than see the promised land. Our commentators have struggled to identify exactly what Moses' mistake was, at least a transgression that could be explained as being grave enough to merit such a punishment. One beautiful explanation among many is that God had intended this moment to be a teaching moment for Moses, that God wanted Moses to demonstrate through his words to the rock how the people might summon water for themselves in the future when drought befalls them. But instead, Moses takes the easy way out, using his rod, which has performed many miracles in the past, to demand water in a way that no one who follows him will be able to emulate. This is such a failure of leadership, one commentator suggests, that Moses is no longer fit to guide the Israelites into the promised land. God understands that this moment calls for organization and for ordering of the elements and for putting structures in place that will outlive and outlast any one particular person who holds the rod. God wants this moment to be one of transition, one of foundation and future building, and that is stolen away by Moses' impatience and frustration in that moment, and so Moses is excluded from his part in that future. We can sympathize with Moses. Foundation building for the future is painstakingly hard work and requires a visionary and radical absence of ego so that one can picture a world in which we are not present, but the world continues. In spite of the chaos this week, the strife, the frustration we may all feel, I am so grateful for the structures that are being built in our congregation, in our city, in our Jewish community that will, God willing, outlive us all. The hope that such initiatives generate for me, and I hope for many others, makes the hard work that they require feel worth it. First, I want to highlight again our city's budding relationship with Shoham Israel that has been made possible by the generosity and vision of Jewish community partners. Among All of those initiatives, especially the presence of these teens from Kilat Shoham and the commitment they and our own temple teens have made for building relationships that will be a strong foundation for growing understanding and doing the work of Tikkun Olam for years to come. Because of the time and effort and resources that have been poured into this relationship, making it happen from so many people, hundreds of people truly, those who come after us will have a strong sense of home, I believe, in Shoham. And those from Shoham will have a strong sense of home in Memphis. And we can work toward a stronger community and a more just world together, even when it's no longer us that's doing the work. That gives me hope. Secondly, for 18 months, Memphians of faith and conscience have been building an organization called MICA, Memphis Interfaith Coalition for Action and Hope. I'm blessed to be among them, but I am only one of many, many committed people from Temple, from all religions and races and ethnicities across our city. After canvassing among 50 partner organizations, we will finally be selecting our key issue areas around which we will take action in the coming years. The vote on those issues will happen this Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lindenwood Christian Church, and all are welcome to come and be a part of the selection process and also of the initial formation of our task forces for action. I'm so proud that Temple was one of Micah's first and biggest committed partners because it was a leap of faith. And I believe, because I have seen it happen, that the organization emerging out of chaos has a strong foundation that can last for generations. It has not been easy, but our city will have, after Sunday, a strong organization that is laser focused on the most pressing issues that we face as a community. Finally, as you may be aware, the American Jewish community, which has spent centuries since we first set foot on this soil, spent centuries organizing itself, has taken a powerful stand against the cruelty we have witnessed playing out at our southern border. Hundreds of Jewish organizations from all streams across the spectrum are voicing our outrage and our protest, sent delegations to the border to witness, and are raising money to help reunite families, and are doing all we can to be a force for good. These strides, and certainly there will be future efforts, would be impossible were it not for our commitment to building lasting structures and to organizing ourselves, because organizations are stronger than any one person, no matter how powerful a rod he wields. The second law of thermodynamics is that of entropy. The idea, I believe, that disorder of a closed system can only increase over time. As a metaphor for our lives, the world leans toward disorder. That is why it is such hard work to bring order to things, to build for the future that will be more organized in the future rather than less. It is such hard work that the Torah says that God, after spending a week of creation taming the world into order, needed Shabbat. And our greatest prophet, Moses, was so tired of trying to do it that he sacrificed seeing the promised land in a moment of weakness. My prayer for this week, as we look at the world that is full of chaos, is that we continue to defy the laws of physics, that we continue with every breath in our body to make the world a more humane and peaceful place, and that we never lose hope, even when this work gets so very hard and can feel so very hopeless. In the words of one of my favorite prophetic writers, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I want to build something that's going to outlive me. Don't you? So we mourn as the Israelites did, we draw our water, and we march on. Shabbat Shalom.